Hello, thank you for checking out today's video. We're going to check out some highway cams for Hurricane Ian in Florida. We're going to check out some seismograms for an earthquake in California, and we're going to look at the West Pacific for a little bit. 2 hours ago at 10 a.m. local time, there was a magnitude 3.4 earthquake near Alum Rock, California. There is currently 50 felt reports for this earthquake. There was no early warning from shake alert. It does have a 7.2 kilometer depth, and the default depth is 10, so that means 7.2 is most likely the actual depth of this earthquake. Here is the BHE channel on a station from the Berkeley network. We can see the signature of that earthquake. Here are some more stations on the EHZ channel. We can see the signature coming in very well on these stations. Here are the location of a couple of stations. I pulled up the strong motion seismograms for them, and we can see the signature at least on these two seismograms. We can also see it here showing up just barely on this one. It looks like both of these stations picked it up similarly. Coming over the Reykjanes Ridge, the swarm of earthquake continues over there. In the past 24 hours, we have seen 19 earthquakes, the largest of all those being a magnitude 5.1. I feel like this swarm may lead to something, maybe not a large earthquake, maybe a volcanic eruption somewhere else, but this is a very odd swarm, and I feel like it's going to end with some sort of special event. This morning at 1 a.m. UTC time, there was a magnitude 5.4 earthquake near Baja, California. This earthquake currently has 7 felt reports. Here is a seismogram. We can see both of those earthquakes coming in very well near Baja, California. There is another station up here. It also picked it up very well. Coming over this station in Texas, it also picked it up very well. Here's a station near Los Angeles on the BHE channel. We can see it picked up the earthquake near Baja, California. Also another station in Los Angeles, we can see it picked up the earthquake. And here is another station, it also picked it up. We can just keep moving north here and we can see all these stations going up the west coast picked up this earthquake. Progressively it gets further and further to the right of the graph as we go north. Across the West Pacific we continue to see around magnitude 5 activity. Among these 5s there was a magnitude 5.4 southeast of the Loyalty Islands. Here are some stations in New Caledonia. These are on the BHE channel, and we can see that all these stations picked up this earthquake very well. Also loading the BHZ channel, we can see it showed up very well on that channel. Coming up here to Fiji on the BHZ channel, we can also see the signature of that earthquake came in very well. Yesterday at 9:22 UTC, there was a magnitude 2.8 earthquake in Texas near the border of New Mexico. This earthquake was in the middle of Red Bluff Reservoir, and in the past 30 days, this earthquake is not near any other activity. Interestingly, Red Bluff Reservoir does eventually meet down into the Rio Grande. The interesting thing about this area of Texas is that it is all oil and gas operations. See how this all looks kind of like a suburb? Well, it's not. Every little pad and road is some kind of machinery or way to get somewhere. And just the more you look, the more you can see this spotted landscape of oil and gas. It's just everywhere. And this poor little reservoir is in the middle of all of it. Now, this earthquake was reviewed and it showed up at an 8.1 kilometer depth. Right now, Hurricane Ian is making landfall on the west coast of Florida. It is currently a Category 4 hurricane with wind speeds of up to 130 knots. They are currently experiencing storm surge, lots of rain, and wind. I was able to look up highway cams earlier, and I'm going to pull them up in just a second. Just at the very moment, it looks like the eye is just going over the coast. It's approaching Cape Coral. I did not know that all of the Florida highway cameras show up on windy, or at least it seems like all of the Florida highway cameras are showing up on windy. Coming over the storm on lightningmaps.org, we can see that there is quite a lot of lightning activity on the east side of the storm. There is also quite a lot of lightning activity near the eye of the storm. Here on Tornado HQ, it looks like there was a ton of tornado warnings up to 41 minutes ago, hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 7 hours ago. Those were all yesterday. So quite a lot on there. Right now, interestingly, there is a very specific area for an extreme wind warning. And it looks like it's just at the front of the storm. Alright, so I was able to pull up these cameras here earlier, and they have some decent quality to them. Now, I'm not going to upload the entire clip I recorded from these cameras. I think it's up to 23 minutes long. I will let the camera in the lower left play out because it went out just shortly after I started recording it, so it'll go out in just a second here. Look at that car speed by. What's really awesome is that these are even up in the first place, and then there's that signboard in the bottom right. It's still working just fine. So interestingly, the VLC recording just stopped there, but when I was recording earlier, it like the whole thing went out and then it wouldn't reload. Oh yeah, so I guess I will jump forward on some of these clips here. I'll expand one of them. The camera actually moves around randomly. I think water is getting inside the lens. Here at 14:23:45, the camera just looks down all of a sudden and just decides to start spinning around. But then it actually pauses its spin for a bit on that sign, and you can really see the wind rocking it around. And also you can see that water, which has this really weird effect on the camera. Also around 14:28:10, the camera just kind of looks up in its dome and just decides to spin around for a bit. Alright, I hope everyone is able to stay safe out there in Florida. This is a major storm. Thank you for checking out today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.